From here, ba, let's do Taekwondo Black Mountain martial arts, Matthew. So today, the last time we were talking about our Taekwondo footwork, 3 types of Taekwondo footwork. So first one was sliding, and second one was playing with your front foot, and the third one was switching your legs. And these are the very typical Taekwondo footworks that you guys can easily apply to your martial art, MMA or the kind of like sparring. So today we are going to talk about the roundhouse kick. So roundhouse kick is very simple. Like there are tons of like good YouTubers who are introducing the different kind of kicking techniques. So let me just briefly introduce you guys roundhouse kick. So how it works, you guys will just kick with the back foot, of course, and then as you guys kick with the back foot, you're going to pivot on your front foot, then kick it, right? And this is very simple, but this is not what I'm going to talk about today. And also, when you guys are sparring, there are so many people who are talking about how you should do the roundhouse kick. I think they are just missing the important part. You must have heard that when you do the roundhouse kick, right? Everybody is focusing on the hips of kicking legs, right? This hips. But this is not that very important. You know why? Because like every single kick, the bottom leg is the key. If your bottom leg is not turning and supporting your body, there's no way that you guys can execute the kicking. Any kind of kicking. No, it's not going to work. If the bottom leg is not fluid, you know what I'm saying? There's a hip joint right here. And if this hip joint is not, like turning on each other, then there's not going to work. But everybody is talking about how they are now really flexible on the kicking leg, so hips. No, that's not a point. So this leg is the point. You guys should do, turn. If this bottom leg's hips turn, then you should be able to turn it. Because you know what? So when you do the roundhouse kick, boom, like here. So if I put it down here, then it's going to be what? Let me show you the side away. Yeah, your hips just facing forward, like when you are before you guys kick, right? So turn hips. The hip on the bottom leg should be turning, so that you guys don't need to worry about the kicking legs. Doesn't make sense? All right. So, but that's not a point for today. That was just the point that I want to correct the misconception that everybody has it. Now we know how a roundhouse kick is supposed to work. Okay, so when you do the roundhouse kick, where are you guys aiming at? Usually they are doing the low kick, right? But some people say that they have to turn all the way in or all the way around, then kick it, right? Or some people just still do the roundhouse kick, like not turning that much. So let's make a point for each different situations. Let's say if your opponent is standing like that, right? Like that, right? And then the thigh is from your hips to the knee, right? And then above your, then where we are aiming at to impact the maximum damage on it is slightly above your kneecap above here and this to the side. And there is a ligament which is called the IT band, right? So when you hit that part with the roundhouse kick, that's where people cannot stay on their legs. So anyways, where you guys aim at with the roundhouse kick is going to be at the IT band, but lower part of the IT band. If the roundhouse kick without turning too much, let's say without turning too much, then you should be able to kick the IT band, the part with the shin, right? Your shin position is inward, right? Your tibia, your lower legs here, and your tibia, the bone is slightly positioned, off the center, and then towards the inward, right? And then if you are turning too much, then you should be able to kick with the shin, tibia bone, that bone on the IT band. But there are still there are some people just still say that turning all the way in and then do the roundhouse kick. They do kick like this, and they're going to kick downward, right? And it's going to be more like kind of hitting the muscles, more likely landing on the muscles, not. So there are pros and cons on each the techniques. Let's talk about the roundhouse kick without turning too much. The pros of this type of the roundhouse kick is that if your roundhouse kick landing like that, right, you can easily put it back and then just kind of execute the next move. And or you can, after you kick and then put it down, and then you can follow with the next kicking technique. Yes, and also the cons of this type of the roundhouse kick is that so let's say you're kicking got caught by your opponent, then it's going to be very easy to just lose your balance because what your opponent is going to just counter with the punch or something like that. The next roundhouse kick with your hips turning all the way in. This one is very productive in terms of like slid your legs out and then follow with the back fist or the back kick as well. And if you do this, and then also you can cover your face real easily, and also it's very easy to balance, right? Without compared to the roundhouse, compared to the situation that you're kicking like a count on this part, in this situation, you might easily lose your balance. But here, your hips turn all the way in, then you should be able to kind of hop on it, or still kind of register a little bit on this single leg. Yes. So, all right, then let me quickly show you guys, how it looks like. So first one, without turning. So let's say my opponent is standing like that, then I'm going to kick without turning my hips too much. From here, ba, ba, one more time, ba, ba, ba. So let's say my kicking is landing on my opponent's legs, then I can easily come back and then to continue. But I'm like, if my kick like here, let's say my opponent is pushing me back like this, then it's going to be really hard, right, to balance. When you are turning your hips all the way to the side, then it's going to be, still you should be able to landing on the leg, and also if you get caught, then it's going to be very easy, but relatively safer, to bounce around and then still stay on your single leg. But here, and also it's gonna be easy to cover your face. Turn, like this, turn. So let me show you one more time. So first one, without turning your hips all the way, from here, ba, 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 right away, ba, ba, ba. But if you kicked all the way in, ba, 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 ba. I want you guys to think about what would be different and try to, experience it.